Shelby.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 5 minutes is not a lot. Mr. Watson, Mr. Black, I want to join the chorus that I appreciate what you've done and what you will do. Mr. Watson and I go back a while. He referenced my home state of Birmingham. He spent some time there as a young FBI agent. He even mentioned my hometown of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. He knows a lot about that area. He knows a lot of those agents. I was a U.S. magistrate before he got here. I'm a little older, you know, Dale. But to both of you, we do appreciate what you do. And we appreciate the CIA and the FBI. What we're trying to do is find out how we can help you to function better. If you put it in that context, with more funds, with maybe more oversight, but not micromanagement, I think is there. Mr. Watson, a few questions. First to you. You said the light, I believe this was the phrase, the light came on for me in 1998. Why didn't the light come on in 1993? When did you go and become head of the terrorism section of the FBI?
And the section is 1997.
97. So you were not there in 93. I mean, you were at the FBI, but you were not
yes,
the head.
I was in the Iranian unit at the time.
Yes, sir.
And then left and went to Kansas
Yes,
City in 94.
But what's troubling to me and perhaps others is we had the first hit on the World Trade Tower in 93.
Right.
You were involved,
Yes,
all
sir.
of you were, in the investigation. And then in, was it 96, we had the Prince Sultan barracks were hit, and then Kobar Towers, we worked with you on that.
That's right.
That time. And then in 98, our embassies were hit simultaneously in Tanzania and Kenya. You
Right.
worked on that.
Yes, sir.
And then in late 2000, the USS Cole,
October.
which my colleague Senator Roberts has spent a lot of time on, and all of us have too. So it was 98. You'd been in your present job as the head of that, what, a few months?
Yes, sir, a year and a half.
So you became aware of this was a serious.
No, sir. That's
Okay.
not what the light came on about.
Okay, tell it. Explain it, Ted.
Okay, I'll
Explain.
be glad to, and I hope I'll be.
Okay.
I'm sorry if you were confused about it.
No.
What the light came on
No,
was.
they were your words.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe my words without the proper
Yeah, go ahead and explain.
explanation. What came on, as the light came on to me, was that we were very reactive. And it was clear that the FBI was being very reactive. It had nothing to do with Osama bin Laden a threat, or was Hezbollah a threat. We all knew that. We were all working in that.
Okay.
But our mentality was pointed at being very reactive. And the crucial piece was, I came to realize that we probably will never stop all acts of terrorists. And the only way we could look at this and feel good about ourselves, if that's the right term to use, is to raise our capacity. That's what I meant when the light came on, not the fact that there were threats out there.
My colleague just a few minutes ago, I believe he used the phrase, trying to dig it out, scope. I think he used the scope of the challenge presented by the terrorists. Was that really comprehended by the FBI and the CIA at that time? Because I think that is a very, very good question he's asked. Was the scope of the terrorist threat appreciated early on, or prior to September the 11th?
Absolutely. And there were a few people that got it, so to speak. We knew, and within the FBI, and particularly Mike Rollins, the section chief that worked for me, we knew exactly what the scope of the problem was. And if you talk to the folks at the CIA, they knew exactly what the scope of the problem was. And if you talk to representatives up at the NSC, they understood what the scope of the problem was. If there was a breakdown, it's not with those three individuals, but if there was a breakdown, it was where we were at, U.S. government-wise, policy-wise, will of the American people. Did they understand the scope? Did you, I mean, I'll leave it at that.
If the FBI understood the scope and the CIA understood the scope, did everybody else under the scope of what the terrorists presented as a threat and what we were up against? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. Well, I don't want to speak for the agency, but that was my impression. They understood it clearly.
Quickly, Mr. Watson, my time's up, but could you describe your role either here or you can do it in a closed session if you prefer, in the internal FBI debates over whether to share FISA-obtained information with the CIA and other agencies? Did you support such sharing or oppose it?
I fully supported that position, and as a matter of fact,
What was your role in that? Do you have a
if you're
central
talking
role?
about a specific incident, we need to talk about that in closed session. If you're talking generically, we had a pilot
Speak
project.
generically first.
Okay.
And we'll
We
get
had a
into
pilot
specifics
project
later.
probably back to 1999, and I think that's the right time where
Okay.
where we were offering raw FISA data to CIA folks to come in and look at because they could probably mine intelligence bits of information out. There was a lot of resistance from that. From
But
a lot
it's
of
very
different
important
camps.
that you share that with them, was it?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for your indulgence.
Thank you, Senator. Mr. Peterson.